Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk with Don Robeson. We're here watching a recap here with unfiltered, uncensored Kathy Robeson, Don Sr., Sue Sleeping, Bandit, and Precious. And we are watching the daily recap here on Fox News. As we get ready, it's almost 4 o'clock p.m. And we are going to see what today's episode of Louder Crowder and enjoy a nice cup of liberal tears and the ladies, and or I don't know if you want to call them ladies, of The View eating a lot of crow. This is the home of Real Talk with Don Robeson. Viewer discretion is advised. Explicit language is imminent. Those who cannot handle the language, please do not continue watching. But if you want to hear real conversation, real discussion, things that mainstream media, Joe Biden and the soon-to-be ex-Vice President Kamala Harris, this is the worst nightmare. So, let's begin. As we set this here. Here we go.
This Week in Feminism.
So, I was just walking to class. Oh my God! A penis! Someone with a penis! Get
What is it, Pam from Head Island? Got a question?
Do you think she's had to overcome sexism as the first female vice president?
Oh, and die. Oh my God, will you stop with that? You women, it's just the opposite. It's all you do is cry about sexism. This country's so sexist. It's so sexist. What are you talking about? Half of you get married because you know when you divorce your husband, you're going to get all this shit. I can't think of a country less sexist. Well, I don't hear you asking those questions about Jordan and Lebanon and all those Middle Eastern countries. They don't even let women drive. Isn't that crazy? They thought of that before we did. Isn't that crazy? A woman shows a little bit of ankle and she gets stoned to death. Granted, the ankles are a lot thinner than, let's say, Hillary, even Kamala. Broads over here who do good, whether it's in business or government, huge ankles. Common. That they have 5 o'clock shadows, huge ankles, and traps like a strong safety. What was the question? Sexism doesn't exist.
Click Rumble Premium and join now for $99 annually or $9.99 a month to get the entirely ad-free experience and exclusive content from Louder with Crowder, Nick DiPaolo, Mr. Guns and Gear, Donald Trump Jr., Kimberly Guilfoyle, and an ever-expanding roster of content, creators, and free speech. I ruined it. Sorry.
A little sluggish today, no?
I'm running a little. I've had 5 hours sleep in 48 hours. I know what you're thinking. It's not just because of the adrenaline of election night. And by the way, you guys set the record for a stream like that for many, many hours. We appreciate it. But I also my phone was just nonstop.
Yeah.
In case there was an emergency, I couldn't put it in Do Not Disturb. So I apologize to everyone. I have, if I haven't responded to you yet, including heads of state, I will get back to you.
Saudi Arabia will call us back.
Yes. Very glad to be with you. Let me give you the rundown really quickly today. Look, I think some of you may be, it's hard to get burnt out. on the election meltdowns. So you've seen that quite a bit. That's fun. Hold on one second. Still the remnants of the virus. But we do have the data. We commissioned some data analysts, and we said, well, we're still going. We have the hard. Who just burped? Who was it?
Wasn't me.
Guys, come on. This isn't one of those basement podcasts. All right, hold on. We have the data. We have the data today. We're going to get to why Donald Trump won. Here's the thing. The left can't say we did one thing wrong. They did everything wrong across the board gains. But some places are shocking. And you'll see a lot of data out there that comes from individuals. This may come from CBS. This may come from NBC. We have everything available and have parsed everything out so we can get through that. That's what we're going to get into today. And what we want from Donald Trump's second term. Comment below. What is it that you would most like to see? Hey, what was the best meltdown that you saw? A lot of them out there are fake. I hate to tell you that, but if at some point today, and thank God we're with Rumble Premium, we'll talk about that more. But if at some point you're still watching on YouTube, you see this, head on over to Rumble. It's a live show, weekdays, 10 a.m. I know some of you tuned in for the election night first time. Weekdays, 10 a.m., Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, Satan's time zone. Number 2, Captain Morgan, CEO. How are you?
I'm doing well. The victory was sweet. Still living. We're tired, obviously, I think.
Yeah. It was it 7? Was it 8 hours?
The stream was over 10 hours.
Almost 11.
Yeah.
It was almost 11. Could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse, guys.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes. Yes.
Felt like a road trip.
It was a lot of fun. Then we have we have 2 people in third chair. I don't know which song we're going to do, but we have
surprise him.
Well, you also have him on Mug Club Rumble Premium now, weekdays 5 p.m. Eastern, and you can go see him. Go see him live. Continue the party this Saturday at the Bridgeview Center Theater in Ottumwa, Iowa. Nick DiPaolo, funniest man alive. How are you?
Very good, thank you. 11-hour podcast we did.
Yeah.
And we raised almost $14 million, so a lot of kids no longer have hair lips in Calcutta. Like those commercials. Is that my fault?
I'd like them to have Joaquin Phoenix in there, at least 1 or 2.
I know.
Cleft palate.
It's too late for him.
And he has that warped shoulder.
Oh my God, that body is weird.
It's weird. It's
I'd
like
to,
it's like he got the body he deserved.
Yeah.
Why, you don't like that guy?
Play Joker.
I just assume it's like Quentin Tarantino. You think his face is just twisted from like years of evil.
Yeah.
Do you think his parents are like, man, they wasted the good body on River?
Oh,
hey, the Viper Room takes.
Yeah, this was dead brother.
The Viper Room takes its toll, and that's what the Viper Room. You go in, you don't come out.
That's
especially if you're 14-year-old.
And you're speedballing.
Yes.
Oh, geez.
All of that and more. And by the way, Josh, I forgot when you hear this band, you know me, love.
Oh, shoot.
Sunday, December 1st at the Avenue Tattoo Studio in Lawton, Oklahoma. Josh, thank you for being here, sir.
Yeah. Do the tattoo show. You know what I want to see in Trump's presidency, second presidency? I want to see him choose another Supreme Court justice, apprentice style.
Yes.
Just get a bunch of these judges at a big table and
it's a great idea.
Fire them all one at a. He knows who he's going to pick, but
then our next judge would have to come out too.
Yeah, but we got to have cool judges like Judge Judy, Judge Joe Brown,
Judge Arsenio.
Right. We got to have Kamala Harris has got to be in there. She'll be a judge soon, probably.
Don't fire him, shoot him.
Oh, wow.
Here we go, the fake outrage.
Exile or execution.
Oh my God, that
We're
was
going to have
horrible.
tryouts. All right, let's go, guys, to Kamala's concession because we have a closing time for Kamala. It's the second one since her primary following Donald Trump's historic win. Kamala gave a concession speech. We're not going to show you too much of it, but it is fun that one of the live streams looked like a high school gymnasium.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good
Shut up.
afternoon.
Can't be that good.
Even that's sincere.
Good afternoon. Now I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now.
Joy.
I get it. But we must accept the results of this election.
Like my stand-up set.
Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
Stupidity.
And so to everyone who's watching,
Not many.
do not
Settling for
despair.
less.
I think she means Jack
This
Daniels.
is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves.
And your legs.
I thank you all.
Roll up your sleeves. You're going to jerk off a camel?
Well, her legs are going to be rolling up under a house. And of course, she left us. It was her final miracle where she left us with her never-ending word salad bowl. But we do have a clip.
Was that Adam Carolla on the right?
I didn't have time to review it before air.
Yeah, she's gonna be on a trampoline next.
This one's really bad. Her very last speech, she couldn't help but make no sense.
There's an adage an historian once
Jesus.
called a law of history, true of every society across the ages. The adage is,
Here it comes.
only when it is dark enough can you see the stars.
It's actually physics.
I know many people
talking about black
feel
dick.
like we are entering a dark time,
Oh,
but
I
for the
forgot.
benefit of us all,
Whatever.
I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars.
She's looking for the word billion.
Anyway, before she came out, they played this song by first name Young. We call him Mr. Jeezy. Except your president is the whitest man ever.
Yes. Or orange.
Yeah.
A little bit.
No.
So
No, he looks like a healthy 10 now. He's white. By the way, you could go with the president she served under, the former vice president, respect the office, Joe Biden, or Trump. Either way, it's a really, really white guy. So before we get to our time to close with Kamala Harris, we do have, for one last time, because we're not going to be able to do this anymore, her father's real name is Donald J. Harris, and I believe we have him here.
Yep.
All right, last time, Mr. Harris, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on your daughter's failure, sir?
Red, red wine. Go to my head.
Oh, you're drunk.
Make me forget that I still need a soul.
Okay, I got. It's nice to see your softer. I don't think that I'm going to be. I'd have figured you more.
Early to be that drunk.
I like
Really
the
is.
mustache.
It's a Jamaican
I like
time.
his mustache is in his mouth.
Not supposed to.
Kamala, time to close. This brings us to our final installment, the second installment. Kamala, time to close.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind. And talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So, passage of time is not a thing.
Kamala, brings us to our final installment, the second installment. Kamala, time to close.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind. And talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Time to close. Endings and beginnings are ending and beginning now.
Caribbean nations, island nations in the Western Hemisphere. That is where the Caribbean is. We are also in the Western Hemisphere. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't.
Time to close. Endings and beginnings are ending and beginning now.
Holistically at the connection between that and housing, and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner, an urgent matter, to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time.
Time to close. Endings and beginnings are ending and beginning now. I'm just curious.
Okay, the last time I had beer was at a baseball game with Doug.
Okay, so cheers. There you go.
cheers.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
And then you want this.
I know that it's time for things to close. I know that it's time for things to close.
I forgot how much I love that Doritos clip because he is talking to her like every couple that is just staying together for the kids. Where he's like, okay, let's not have too many spritzers, sweetheart. I'm going to have one more.
Yeah, she grabbed that bag in anger.
Yes, she did.
Yes,
She did. Saying, I'm going to have to, sweetie, you might as well put these straight on your hips. Yeah, your hips.
She grabbed him like, okay, I guess they don't have Cool Ranch.
Yeah, I guess they don't have Cool Ranch.
Yeah, the better one.
All right, well. Bye, Kamala. It was fun. Hey, by the way, none of this happens without you. We made the major announcement election night. Rumble Premium Mug Club is now Rumble Premium. Rumble Premium Mug Club. You get all the Mug Club content, of course, that you were getting. And you also get the ad-free experience here on Rumble where you can watch everything ad-free. There are other content creators. The lineup is going to be jaw-dropping here within the next, I don't know. I don't want to overspeed. Next months, next year. Same price, $99 annually, $99 a month. Like we said, we are going to have a new Mug Club token for you guys, but we wanted to make sure that you could join election night. Hey, you are the proof of this needing to be a thing out there, right? It's one thing to have a Patreon. And we are very grateful for the network, us and Nick DiPaolo, and what we've done with Alex Jones and people there. But we know that Rumble has the infrastructure to create a network. You pay once, one place, and you get access to a whole lot more. So grateful and glad to be a part of it. Let's move on. You can click that button right there. Do it.
Thank you very much.
It's funny. I was just looking at Kamala like, oh man, she looks stressed. Yeah. She looks way better than I do. Everything is dry and everything is. They were like, you need to put on some chapstick. Gabe William told me.
Oh, he did?
No.
Why would you lie about something?
I don't know. I just like to lie. It makes me feel big. So the election. Now, look, a lot of the meltdowns out there aren't necessarily true. Okay. What you've been seeing on TikTok, what you've been seeing on Twitter, X, some of it is staged. But I did want to just fill you in on a couple of things that I've noticed going to the leftist sites. You know, we have memberships in some of these places. We have people in these message boards. Yeah. But one, that's one of the primary Democrat websites out there. And please comment below. What's been the most fun thread that you have seen? I've noticed something, and Nick will particularly enjoy this. This is a theme. Look, what happened to the 18 million votes? No effing way over 18 million people did not vote in this election. Another person. The numbers just don't add up. And someone else, seriously, trying to wrap my head around this. Has anyone seen an explanation for this phenomenon? Reddit was a little more quick to finalize the equation. Damn, y'all. Maybe we really did steal the election in 2020.
Just saying.
Well. And by the way, look, I will say this. Look, and we can question it now. This election has made one thing really clear. If you think that 2020 did not see some foul play, you absolutely need a CAT scan. 2020, we now know, stands out from all other elections in the history of the modern world, as shown by this graph right here. There you go. Yep. Wow. You will not see this kind of turn. You will not see that number, quote me, for another 15 years. Biden, I'll tell you exactly what it is. Biden got 81 million votes, 2012, 2016, 2024. They're about 65 million votes for the Democrats when you're talking about it. About 65 million votes. It's the only time it's happened. It's the only time the percentage of eligible voters, of registered voters, you can do the math any way you want. It's never come out like that, except that night for Biden.
Well, what you're forgetting is that Joseph Robinette Biden is the greatest leader of 6 generations.
He's so popular that he, in a future machine, torpedoed Kamala's chances. Right? The thing that killed her campaign is that she was attached to Joe Biden, Mr. 81 million, they call him.
Our greatest.
So maybe you can't say it because your name's on the show. Maybe
I can say it.
Legal ramification. It was fucking stolen.
Yep.
Said it the hour it ended. Of
course.
Been saying it since. Let's cut the shit and get back to reality.
Yeah.
Anybody? I don't want to get you in
No,
trouble.
I
don't know.
completely agree.
not gonna get
Now,
it.
it's funny is people on the left like, damn, maybe we do. Well, how does this math not add up? Yeah, you know what? That's interesting. I've even seen people on the left calling for auditing voting machines.
Yes. I'm like,
It's,
wow.
it's almost as if millions of ballots were sent to people without them asking for them.
Yeah.
And then collected without them giving them back.
Yes,
They
exactly.
may or may not have
But
been alive.
that should be stressed for the next.
Yeah.
To me, I would stay on that point for the next at least month.
Yeah.
Every night, remind them, you guys, Trump won 3 times.
Yeah, this was victory
This is
number 3.
Victory number 3.
Yeah. This is why they want kids to go to, and we'll freeball a lot of this state. This is why they spitball.
Free ball?
Spitball.
Speedball.
Admonish me
Can
for
it
that,
be both?
Tillman. I
A little bit.
deserve to be
Maybe there's a little
admonished for that.
I said speedball.
Like I said, I'm not, yeah, this isn't the Viper room.
We're hanging in the wind.
Is this the January surprise that they're gonna go? Oh, well, actually, we have found that 2020 was kind of rigged. So he won 3 times. You can't win 3 times.
Yeah,
He won
exactly.
twice. You can't be president.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's won 3 times. You can't win.
FDR.
I wouldn't put that
Guys,
past
I know you're all pissed off on the left. Just don't worry. January 6th is the final day to make your voices heard
Yes.
peacefully and patriotically. So just,
You had,
suck it.
you had,
Sorry.
you had Father Milking?
You almost, Gerald, you almost had me go, oh. I almost reacted like,
Sorry,
oh,
that
no.
And let me just be really clear here too, because I get that younger people have different struggles. From. I'm very
Sorry, what?
younger people.
I had struggles.
Is that a diaper? Is that
I had a pony named Struggles.
it sounds like an ice cream shop.
It's the emoji
But it's
speaking.
Struggles.
It goes straight to my head.
Take a family down to Struggers.
That younger people have different struggles than old people. I get it.
Yeah.
When people, yes, we've made the argument where, yeah, you can get a 1,200 square foot home just like your boomer parents did. You can have a white picket fence. You can have a small yard. You can go on a 2-week vacation. So we understand some of the complaints sometimes are exaggerated, but I also understand there are different struggles. Okay, it's not lost on me. Sometimes people are tone deaf. That being said, what I'm about to highlight is exactly why older people say, look, you are a generation of pussies, because professors canceled classes to mourn Trump's
Right.
win. To give you an idea, this is from, I believe this is from Michigan State.
Oh, geez.
I am canceling class today to grieve the presidential election results. You should be fired. As a queer immigrant woman of color, I cannot, in good conscience, go on about my day like everything is all right. You still got tenure? Ohio University. I have decided to cancel class today to give space to those who are devastated by the election results. I have already interacted with students who are hurting badly, who are scared, who are tired, and who are unsure on how to go on. Look, you have people who lived through Jimmy Carter becoming president, and then those people who I guess were happy about that lived through Reagan becoming president. But Carter became president. You had people go, oh my gosh, that sucks, and went back to work after, by the way, they had to stop in a gas line. And you can't go to your Humanities 101 class?
You had kids going to school during the Cuban Missile Crisis when they thought they were all going to be vaporized. What?
I watched 9/11 at school.
Yes, so did I.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I was too young.
I was
It
in the
messed me
North
up for
Tower,
life.
for Christ's sake.
We had the Challenger blow up in all of our classrooms.
And this is true
I was
too.
making deposited. Cantor Fitzgerald. I saw Muhammad Atta's face right in the window.
This is, but did you this? You're going to love this. I know you're going to say that I'm a horrible person, but I don't care.
No, you're not.
The suicide hotline also was completely off the hook. This is someone put this out on X. This being the first thing I was told on the suicide hotline is genuinely disturbing. It says, we're sorry for the wait. We're experiencing high demand for LGBTQAI support and are connecting you to a national crisis counselor. They had call waiting for the suicide hotline before Donald Trump. Hey, he at the very least, he's the president-elect. You have a couple months, like get a notary, get your will in order. Really? You're going to kill yourself because a guy won, who, by the way, has no plans to do anything with you and your cat suit. He doesn't care. But I do find this quite funny, not because anyone is going to lose their life. So let's be honest. If you kill yourself because Donald Trump won, you're probably going to kill yourself anyway. We have some exclusive footage of how those calls went.
Hello? I think I need help. Since the election, I've been having thoughts of... Hello? Hello? Hello?
Your call is very important to us.
Apparently not that important.
On the bright side, Wildfire went to Spotify #1.
It did, yeah.
It's the Stranger Things effect.
Yes.
Everything old is new again.
So there was increased self-immolation. So
you're going to kill your. This is like, think about that. So many people. Buffalo Bill is calling and call waiting when he dances with his skin suit. I can't go on. I don't think I can do it anymore.
yeah, they really shouldn't have picked New York.
It doesn't put me on hold again. It doesn't put me on hold.
Was she a great big fat lesbian?
Great big fat. Would you kill me? I'd kill me.
Noodles.
Nice.
Sir, can you describe how you're feeling?
Is that with 3 H's or 4?
And now Joy Beha's tucking her penis between her legs.
By the way, did anyone here? Anyone get to stay home when Obama or former VP Biden won? Any conservatives get that message on college? Hey,
God.
Did one conservative get that message on college campus from their professor? Hey, because Biden won, you can stay home. Beforehand, they were preempting, saying, if Donald Trump won, has one conservative been allowed the day off work to mourn? Now, I'm sure if you have like a cool boss, you know, your hand might be sore from all the high-fiving. He's like, we got this. Have fun.
When Biden won, it was kind of like, well, you can just continue to stay home because, well, our Democratic governor has ordered it.
Yes. You know, when it happened with Biden, genuinely, we were up. That was a 17-hour stream with a break in between.
Yeah.
We were angry because the votes completely flipped. At no point, genuinely, comment below, at no point did suicidal ideation come into play.
No. We're like,
in other scenarios, sure, but not because Biden.
Standard operating.
No, we had work to do. We were like, all right, we're pissed off about this. We've got some work to do. Nothing looks real here. We got to dig into this stuff. That's what we did.
Yeah.
These guys are missing the point every single time. They're missing the point. They're saying it's sexism and everything else, and we'll talk about it. But I haven't seen one person go, maybe our ideas just aren't that popular.
I have seen it.
Not one.
I've listened to every major leftist podcast roundup.
Who said it?
I don't want to give them the airplay. You'll know exactly who it is. They were like, we just look, there's no one thing we can look at. We lost across the board. They're like, everything is bad. Okay. They're having the conversation if the Democrat Party is done. Remember they were saying the Republican Party was done?
Yeah.
When you have a shift everywhere, and we'll get to this, it may be done. It may be done for them. It should be.
It should be. It's not enough just to beat. This isn't. We got to quit looking at them like I've been saying this forever, like a legitimate political party. They're the enemy of this country.
Yeah.
You don't just beat them in an election. You have to really dismember.
You have to subjugate the leadership of the party. Put it that way. That's what you got to do.
Break it up.
Yep.
It's time for them to finally make the change in their name to the National Socialist Party.
Yes,
for real.
They should. And then, of course, Bernie Sanders he took a victory lap. He's like, you abandon the working class, they're going to abandon you. Suck it.
You know, Bernie's kind of happy. You know, he's a little bit happy.
Hey, teachers like ball players.
Yes, that's right. Look,
yeah, nobody's more happy right now than Joe Biden.
I had not school
I know.
teacher.
Oh, and Hillary's probably fucking loving it too.
Yeah.
I had not our school teacher. She was the LeBron of paper mache.
There is no LeBron of paper mache.
Horseshit! By the way, crowdershop.com to everyone out there.
Yes.
We almost lost the site on election night.
Yeah, we've got the
because it
Trump
was
one shirt.
so busy.
Yeah.
Can we make another one that says 3 times under it?
Well, maybe we can do something like that. But yeah, go to crowdershop.com for the Trump one shirt. We broke all records, by the way, on a Crowder Shop.
Very, very grateful.
Thank you very much.
$4 million you guys made. And I couldn't believe it.
What?
Not right.
That's what I read.
Yes,
$4 million.
Where did you read that? The Post?
I do wish that we made $4
That'd be
million.
one hell of a night.
That would be a hell of a
All
night.
right, I'll give you the real number, 1.5 million.
But it did give us hey, we're going to be here at least until next election. Probably not on YouTube. I'm sure we had to hit that dump button a few times. But we're going to bring out Lane the Brain here in a little bit and go through some of the data as to why and how Donald Trump won. And this matters because, the gut feeling is important. And I think everyone, before you had all the polling, before you had all of these metrics now where everything was, let me put it this way. I got as a gift, and it's great, these meat probes, but Toolman knows. I used to use the meat probe that you just pop in, right? Like to check if your steak is done. But I got those Bluetooth ones like you can get it. And you know what? It messed me up because I would do it. And then of course, 2 meats are different thicknesses and I just, it wouldn't work. And so I went back to just doing it manually. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it how I used to do it by feel and then check it. And I'm back to making it. I'm back to making it better.
Me about that tomahawk, man.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Nick was telling me about his Bluetooth probe.
No.
It's called though Willie Brown.
I can control it from the other room.
I know. My proctologist had to meet the mom, and I go, "What are you doing?" What? Again, can you explain that? I want to. I
So
want
it's great-
something.
it's great for
Is
some
this
of
the
your-
one you just point at?
No, that's like you use for the surface, but you can have one like it's great for like a turkey or a roast, right?
Yeah,
Slow
how's it
cooking.
work?
You leave it in, and you have a little device or your phone, and it tells you the exact temperature. It's great, but when you're grilling, it's super short and fast, and you can overthink it. Like if you're grilling 3 steaks, you don't want to be doing. I just go, you know what? I have a general 3 minutes. Okay, then I'm going to check it slow it after the sear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can get you one. I can get you one of those. It's great for the stuff you
If
make.
it involves my phone, I'm not interested. But go ahead.
No, it's not. Doesn't have to involve your phone. I know that you hate new things.
Oh, what are you, a progressive? Goddamn right, I'm a fucking reactionary.
Yes,
to the bone.
I hate.
Take me back to 39.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I had this.
It's an odd year.
Wait, 30. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I just realized it. It was a very good year. What? What did he say?
I just grabbed the number. I'm sorry. I really did. I had 6 million other things I could
Sinatra
have.
with
What?
all the anti-Semitic. So it is. So before all the analytics and the data that you had, you did go by some sort of gut feels where you go, look at the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
You would say, look at the fundamentals of the economy. Look what we're seeing with the early votes. You used to have to rely on that. And in this case, you had people, the pollsters were wrong again, and they gaslit everybody again. The biggest, I guess what I would say, what I really noticed as a trend is those on the left were absolutely shocked. You've heard me say from the beginning of this election, 60-40, and then I went to 60, I said 65-35, okay? We would not have been shocked if Kamala Harris won. We wouldn't have been thrilled about it, but we wouldn't have been saying, I can't believe this happened. The left couldn't fathom that this was a possibility. They still can't. So Tuesday night, he was elected for a third time as president of the United States. Here's a brief portion of his speech.
Thank you very much. Wow. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being.
He is an odd
elected
duck. I
your
love him.
47th president and your 45th president.
I love him.
It was, and by the way, Republicans won control of the Senate, 52 seats. The House is still too close to call.
But I heard we're leaning red.
Yeah, the Republicans need 13 more seats, and I believe that they have the lead in laying the brain. You can let me know. I believe 18 races that are still remaining, right?
As of this morning, of the count that's left, I think 18 of those races are being led by Republicans.
Okay. Why are we giving them the face-off lighting?
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty good. I like it.
We had it lit for something else.
Well, the guy doing our data analytics
Snuff film?
is Castro.
Yeah. I'm going to take his face.
And of course, naturally, the left is taking this exceedingly well.
It's easy to blow this off. Oh, look at the elites. They're going to get their comeuppance. It's not the elite that's going to pay the price. It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare.
So I worry not about myself, actually. I don't worry about my station in life. I worry about the working class. I worry about my mother, a retired teacher. I worry about my children's future, especially my daughter, who now has less rights than I have.
So you asked,
right.
Are there any places that the
Oh, this
vice
one's great.
president is overperforming Joe Biden
This is
in
the best
2020?
one.
So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
By 3% or more.
We are about to enter a political period that will have consequences for the rest of our lives. People that he
Glad you get it.
affiliates closely with and strongmen abroad in regimes like that, it is not uncommon to jail political dissidents.
Oh, shut up.
You don't say.
Take up
You
your
don't
shirt.
say.
Yeah.
Like 2020? Is that why
This is
Jack
the
Smith
world
is
that
dropping
we
charges?
very realistically may be entering.
I'm obviously very disappointed.
Obviously.
I'm very sad. I was
You're
at
welcome
the
for your
Kamala
weight
Harris
loss.
headquarters yesterday in Washington, and it was a very sad scene. The mood turned immediately.
They wore, no joke, you probably know this at this point, but The View all wore black in mourning.
Did they really?
They wore black in mourning.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
What they wear in the evening? No.
Like they were.
I'm going to come out draped in nothing but the flag. Like,
The death of their credibility.
Whoopi looked like she was in Sister Act 14.
Yes, exactly. Just see her teeth and eyes.
you see this? This is okay. So let's get into it. We do have some data here, and this is the full picture of all the data we have available.
The
right?
big picture, as they say.
The big picture. Yes,
We are a serious news organization.
we are a serious news.
I can tell by the fucking video machine.
Yes.
Well, everybody likes to have a good time, Nick.
Yes, even those who work,
for
by
the
the way,
love of
work very,
God.
very tirelessly. We appreciate it. So here's the thing. This is, let me set the stage here. This was a very resounding rejection of the Democrat Party and the ideals. Right. The margins not only were significant in these swing states, but we were even going through some of this math. You may not know this. New York is just as much of a swing state as Florida and as Texas, because the margin by which Kamala won New York was not any more than Donald Trump won Florida or Texas. So when people say these are deep red, well, hold on a second. You're talking about within 15 points in places like New York, within about 5 points in Virginia, only a single-digit points in Minnesota, right? Then you would have to say, okay, these are swing states, because you're seeing
Jersey
across Jersey, with single digits across the board, everywhere. So spoiler alert, whether it's young voters, whether it's female voters, whether it's Latino voters, whether it's black voters. Now, this doesn't mean that Donald Trump has won these demographics, but he has made big gains with every single one. One exception, college-educated white women. I have that right in the brain?
Actually, every single white group he lost support against.
Oh, that's right.
Lost support with. Mostly amongst college-educated white
What does
women.
that tell you about what they're being taught?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're losing their support from on behalf of the blacks who are gaining. So he's getting support.
Correct.
So the white people they're doing it as voluntary, as a tribute.
It's tribute.
to the Hispanic.
It's reparations.
We don't want
vote
our
reparations.
We don't want our white supremacy authoritarian, because
Absolutely.
that's not good.
Well, you don't know. You don't know better, so I'm going to help you out.
Antonio Brown, the craziest football player ever to play.
Yeah.
Black as
not
they
guessing.
get. Nuts. I
I love
don't know if I can say it. Can I quote him what he said with his tweet?
No.
I don't know.
Just guessing by knowing Antonio Brown, probably not.
Yeah.
Well, but all right. It's I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to hurt the program.
You can, let me guess.
He just called Trump. It was just it made me laugh. So, nigga of the century.
There you go. I'll allow it. I have no problem with it.
NIGGA, and again, it's him saying it. Nigga of the,
Yeah, he does this thing. He has an N-word of the day, he's a cracker of the day, he's a
Right.
beaner of the day. Or
Of
he
the
does this
century.
thing.
I thought it was going to be way worse than that. Oh,
He does,
no, that's
yeah.
fine. The Hodge twins have sat in those seats.
what's worse than that?
Oh, no, I thought there was going to be hard R's dropped. So I was
Oh no, I'm from Boston. We don't.
That's right.
Technically, he did.
You guys can't tell.
That's the only reason people think they're less racist than they are.
I got to use that in my act. Write that down.
Someone's like, no, they're trying to explain it. It's "ga," not "g." They're like, it's not GR. That's what I'm saying, "ga." Oh, I get it. You're from Rhode Island. Okay, we'll just say you're not racist. Why would you say that? All right.
It's your racist cousin from Boston, Tommy.
They're so racist. It's so blue, but they're so racist.
Yes.
I think it's the most racist state in the union,
Why do you
possibly.
say that? That is so. Boy, I've been having this discussion for 1,000. What's more? Let me see. Who's more in danger? A white guy in downtown Atlanta at 3 a.m, or a black guy in Boston at downtown?
Right.
Since 1970.
No, I mean by the left standards of racism.
But it's not anymore.
Trick question?
It's gay. It sucks.
Mark Wahlberg can't even beat up a Vietnamese person anymore.
That's what I
Make
mean.
Boston great again.
We all learn from our mistakes, okay? In life. In life, you're the winner, you learn, okay? Problem is I win so much, I don't do a lot of learning. I'm basically illiterate, right? I win too much. So
My favorite one.
Pennsylvania, Donald Trump won by 1.9%, okay, about 171,000 votes.
Amish.
Let's run through these numbers here, and Elaine the Brain and you and Bobby, the whole team, you did a lot of great work here. Some huge gains were made in urban areas in Pennsylvania. So let me give you some numbers. So Kamala, since 2020, she's down 1.5% as far as the votes in urban areas in Pennsylvania. Donald Trump is up 1.6%. That means the shift since 2020 toward Trump is 3.1%.
In urban areas.
In urban areas.
insane.
The fact that he gained at all, you would have thought, wouldn't you have thought, hey,
For sure
Kamala
she would.
Harris is going to do better than the really old white guy Biden
Yes.
in Philly, right?
Yeah.
In places like, no, she did worse.
Yeah.
In terms of total votes, that was about 120,000 votes just in the urban areas that Trump
Right.
gained. So if you look at the total that he won by, tons of that was in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I
we're
was just going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Because those are the real liberal hotspots.
Yep.
That is great news.
It really is. And then we're going to get to the demographics, and of course, because they do it geographically. We have that data, and then they separate it by demographic as far as race, as far as gender, but they don't give you the race and gender, for example, specifically in Philly. So we'll probably have that in the final picture.
This show, I got to be honest with you, I came in, I thought this would be a little dry. I'm learning so much.
Good.
Seriously.
I am too. I learned from them. That night I was going back with them going, guys, give me what it is that you're seeing. They're going, well, they made the prediction. You guys made the prediction hours before. This was the first place to call Georgia, just to give you an idea. The first place, I believe on earth, certainly on air, to call Georgia. And we said it's about 3.8, I believe, at that point. It's going to narrow to somewhere around 2%, but that's where it's going to settle. When we called it, it ended up being, I want to say
2.2 or something.
Oh, so you guys are off.
Yeah.
The model that they put together out there was as good as anything that you were seeing anywhere.
Yeah.
It's
and the left is not doing this.
Well,
They
you
should
know-
be analyzing like you guys. I swear to God, they're probably not even. They're too busy.
I honestly, I'm not just, look, you have to understand it's a separate entity where I cannot go in and influence what the research here does as far as this modeling, right? I sit there and learn, and they were right far beyond CNN, Fox News. I don't know what Nate
does that
Silver's
tell
doing.
you, though? What does that tell you?
They're not trying.
No, it's not even that. I think it's worse. It's not that
We're
they're not trying. They have the same data that we have. They have enough people to analyze the data.
Yeah.
These agencies, I think we exposed something that we didn't know we were going to expose. An hour and
You're
15
right.
minutes
I thought you were gonna say
later
you're
on
right.
Georgia,
No, you're
on
right.
North Carolina,
Yep.
calling it before, on Pennsylvania, when there's just no hope. Like, we called all these states and we're like, why wouldn't you want to tell people kind of as close to first as you can be, as long as you know the result is accurate, what you're saying is true based on the data? Why wouldn't you want to be first? That's what everybody wants to be.
Yeah,
Because but you hit it. I think you mentioned it, Gerald, to keep them watching, right?
Well,
Because
to
it's
keep
about-
them watching, and also I think they just manipulate how people feel when you don't call the race until the next day.
Yeah.
Like I woke up to CNN still at 266.
I know. I did too.
What?
They wouldn't give him Alaska.
No, they wouldn't
No.
give him I was like, Alaska's like California.
It's a
Call it
swing
30
state.
seconds after it closes.
Yeah,
We're holding out for the Samoan vote.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's three black guys in Anchorage waiting for.
they got exposed heavily on this.
And
heavily.
they voted third party. They wrote in, it's too cold for this shit.
Yeah, I woke up. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It really is just mind blowing.
Well, Michigan, let's go to Wayne County, right? That's Detroit. And it's not just Detroit, but Wayne County is a very urban county, right? That's kind of the leftist stronghold in Michigan. Donald Trump got 33.7% of the vote. Kamala got 62.7%. So Donald Trump is up 9 since 2020. When you look at that swing, a swing toward Donald Trump, 9%. Also, very notable. Very notable. Because everyone was talking about, and yes, the Jewish vote did migrate a little bit. It's a little bit tougher to get. But Donald Trump defeated Kamala Harris in what perhaps could be, is a terrorist hotbed. Dearborn, 47-27.
Wow.
With a clip. Yeah, with a clip. Yep.
Democratic leaders
Jill
did
Stein
not
had
listen
about
to
21.
Arab or Muslim voters, and he feels that helped President-elect Donald Trump win.
In Dearborn, Michigan, Donald Trump has won the majority of votes. This was entirely avoidable. This was entirely avoidable.
Yeah, if you tear up the Quran and make everybody hate themselves.
Hold on, think about that. Donald Trump may be the only person in history that has gotten more Jewish votes and more Muslim votes in the exact same
time.
Our so-called Hitler, anti-Semitic, racist piece of garbage, bringing people together like nobody ever has. Just think about that, left, for 3 seconds, and then shut your holes for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Wow. He won it 47-27.
I can't. I did
Dearborn,
not, I'm
Michigan.
glad I showed up today.
Where I believe, was it like 3 of the hijackers came from Dearborn? Dearborn, a lot
I
of
think
them.
one of the hijackers got the rest of the votes.
Yes, he did.
Because that's not adding up.
He's ballot
47,
harvesting. He's like,
Yeah.
look, you have to fight fire with fire.
It makes sense. They like strong. You know what I mean?
Well, they're more traditional, but the left is bemoaning them, saying that's because they're deeply traditional and they're racist and they're sexist and they're, well, okay,
I love the
you were
left
telling us to
breaking
love.
down and getting racist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sexist and almost homophobic. Let's see if they blame LGBT for this.
Yeah, let's see if they're about a homophobe.
And this is, let's go not just to the cities, but the demographics. This is one where a lot of people were saying he'll do better, but we didn't know that Donald Trump would do this much better.
No, the gains were, I couldn't believe it.
With the Hispanic vote, Donald Trump got 42, Kamala got 52. So that slide since 2020 toward Trump is 14 points, a 14-point gain. And you see the same breakdown, by the way, with Latino men. For some reason, I don't know why they give us the data as far as Hispanic, but then Latino men, Latino women.
I don't understand the politics.
Nobody, I've been trying to figure the difference out forever.
But this is how they categorize it. So Latino men, Trump won 55-43. That's a 19-point gain since 2020. 19 points. So just to be clear, with Latino men, he didn't just make up for the loss. He won Latino men.
By a lot.
by a lot.
Yeah.
And this is from a lot of data.
There were a lot of white chicks a lot of racist white chicks came out on Twitter that were like, oh, it's the machismo of these Latino men. They're just as bad as whites. They're white supremacists. And
they're racist.
Yes.
They
say.
All these one race of people are racist because they're dumb and stupid.
Yeah. You disagree with me. You're racist. Whatever color.
But even with Latino women, by the way, of course, you expect him to lose. We were told that he would lose all of the female vote. Latino women. 38. Donald Trump lost 38 to 60 with Kamala. But again, that's an 8-point swing since 2020. So you're winning with Latino men, and you're making up for losses with Latino women. Sorry, it's too many terms. I'm never going to say Latinx. By the way, Democrats, that's why you lost.
Yeah.
Even Latinx don't like Latinx.
They don't ever say it.
They hate that.
They hate.
They came out and said, "Will you stop with that?"
Yeah.
They're whores.
I think that you have. First off, I think this right. You need to stop looking at Hispanic Americans, Latino Americans as a block. Cuban Americans in Florida are going to be very, very different from Venezuelan migrants in Colorado. Can we all agree?
Yes.
It's not the same thing.
Yes.
And even then, though, when you look, I bet you, and we'll get some more, a clearer picture, you'll see a lot of Mexican men still, Donald Trump winning with them. So across the board, probably with Hispanic men, but they are not one voting block. And I bet you they're tired of being pandered to when you say, hey, he wants to deport you. And someone's going, not me. I'm here. I pay taxes. I have my car.
Yeah.
You're racist.
I think.
You are racist.
You know what pisses them off? And I have firsthand experience with this.
Yes,
my dad works
when you don't
construction.
pay on time.
Hard shell tacos.
No.
That's true. This is not a taco.
I like that.
They actually-
Ground beef in a nacho.
Yeah, but it's good. So they actually hate it when they have illegals come and compete for jobs.
Of course.
Because they're like, look, they'll take such lower pay because they're not paying taxes on it,
That's
right?
right.
They can do this, and
That's
it
also a
actually
lie.
hurts them.
Yeah.
Like it is. It's not a lie. They don't pay taxes on it. They get
No, what I'm saying, but
cash
it's
under the
also
table.
no. A lot of them don't pay tax. Illegal immigrants, but I'm saying they don't make basement wages. Like if you actually have people working construction, we did this. I did this as a video where we went to Home Depot. They were being paid $45 an hour back then. A lot of them $25 an hour. They weren't being paid $7 an
Yeah,
hour.
but what they're not doing is they're not paying them health insurance. They're not paying them benefits. They're not paying them overtime. So they're saving so much money in other areas.
I give my
just the
pool
straight
boy
under the
dental.
double pay. But
Yeah.
to your
So does
point
Kamala.
about
Give 'em
treating the
oral, it's different.
Hispanics or Latinos as a monolith, however you want to phrase it, Texas exemplifies that, right? Because there's not a lot of Cubans in Texas, but there are a lot of Mexican Americans. So you can see.
Yes. So in Starr County, Texas, which is 97% Hispanic, we talked
Number
about
one
this
in
on
the
election night. We were the first people, I believe, to talk about it, and then everyone else is covering this. But I'm glad that they are all references by the way. Go screw yourself. Talking about tacos.
Yo.
All available. LiveOfCredit.com. Link in the description. You have one-stop shop now too. You can just be right here on Rumble. Boom, Rumble Premium. Keep watching. You can click the link, read the descriptions, read all of the source material. Starr County, Texas, 97% Hispanic. Donald Trump got 57.7% of the vote to Kamala's 41.8. That slide is 21 points to Donald Trump. This is the first time a Republican has won this area of Texas, Starr County, since 1892.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
flag
it's
was
a-
over Texas back then.
He won the entire Rio Grande Valley, every single Rio Grande Valley border.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And overall, he won
Wow.
Hispanics,
the border,
I believe, ages 44 to 55. Overall, period, including men and women.
It is, and it's about employment, like you said.
And that would be Mexicans, as we're talking
Yeah,
about.
in
He
Texas
won them
now.
outright.
Now, if you go to Miami-Dade County, right, this is 69% Hispanic. I would imagine far
Cubano.
more Cuban immigrants. A lot of, they don't necessarily, but I think they probably, a lot of Brazilian migrants there. A lot of them do not like to be referred to as Hispanic. I get it. Portuguese, it's not lost. I mean, my point is the census.
Waxings.
Okay, so Miami-Dade, 69% Hispanic. Donald Trump won 55.2 to 43.7. That's an 18.8 point slide
Hillary. Wow.
from 2020. And Hillary won this county by 30 points.
My God.
By
Kamala sucks.
30 points.
Legacy media is dead, folks.
And overall, Donald Trump won Florida with Hispanics 58 to 40. Here's the other one that I'm there was data. This was very murky before this, right? Because you'd see some polls come back that showed Gen Z being very, very liberal, and some coming back that would show them pretty conservative. But here's the one thing: even the stats that would show them very liberal, far more conservative at this point in their lives than boomers, than even Gen X. So you always expect young people to be liberal by a huge margin.
Yeah,
you just need a bit, and you can find clips of me at conferences, on Fox News, probably on CNN, wherever, in 2009, 2010, where they were always talking about the black vote because of Barack Obama. I said, look. Okay, you can tell, and I get that, and you should be speaking to all people. The message of freedom, liberty, pursuit of happiness should resonate with all people. But maybe the messaging is pretty bad as far as how we're doing it because you put on John McCain and then you put on Mitt Romney. But I said, if you just mitigate your losses with people under the age of 30 or people under the age of 40, if you just close that gap where it's not a consistent loss of like 30 points, if you just narrow those losses to maybe a 20-point spread, you would never lose another election. Well, guess what we're seeing? Young voters move toward Trump, 18 to 29-year-olds, okay? 18 to 29-year-olds, the youngest voting demo available. We'll make this reference available for you so you can go through the data yourself, telling you exactly what is up our sleeves. Donald Trump, 43% to Kamala, 54%. Only 11 points. That's a 7-point slide to Trump since 2020. That's a 7-point slide. That is huge. By the way, Donald Trump won young men, 18 to 29-year-old men, 49 to 47. That's an 8-point slide. Here's the other thing that's surprising. You expect him to do better with young men? If you were to guess, 18 to 29-year-old women, honestly, before I know you guys have the cheat sheet, I'd say like a quarter, right? Maybe 1 in 4 would vote for Donald Trump.
That would have been my maximum guess.
I think that would have been
absolutely
a lot.
Would we all agree that anything over?
I was going to say 78%. But
No, these are some of the most rabid anti-Trump people that I've seen on social media.
It is the demo that I would say I would be shocked if it was over 30.
Yeah.
Would we all agree? Shocked over 30?
Unless you're pulling in Uptown Dallas, to be honest with you, that's going to be like 77%.
Yes. But Donald Trump got 37% of the vote to Kamala's 61 with just 18 to 29-year-old women. That's a 5-point slide toward Donald Trump. So here's the thing. Everything was a slide toward Donald Trump. And by the way, down ballot candidates were helped. Remember a lot of people saying Donald Trump hurts candidates. We'll get to the midterms. It's very, very different. And again, you still have the remnants of COVID. There are a bunch of reasons why it was different from this national election.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, when he's on the ticket, on a national ticket, helped these candidates. It's just a question of how much we see, how large the gains are. They're huge. And I mean, fundamentally reshaping the parties, if you don't think that's hyperbole, with Hispanic votes.
Absolutely.
Fundamentally changing. Think of the party of Mitt Romney, Republican Party, the votes, versus the party of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
They've lost that Bernie coalition. They've lost that middle class, working class. And by the way, the only thing they can rely on is white, college educated. And we know that white college education now doesn't necessarily mean informed, and it doesn't necessarily mean someone who's going to be financially successful. It's no longer a metric of you being an intelligent individual. College degree is nothing. It's a diploma mill. I even saw this on Reddit, professors saying, well, yeah, the reason for this, I'm a college professor, and the papers I review, they can't spell. There's no sentence structure. Well, whose fault is that? So you're saying that we need to send more kids to school, and you're saying that you are a college professor and that these students are functionally retarded.
Right.
But you're saying the educated vote goes to Donald Trump. I bet you, if you were to put people to a basic literacy writing test, as long as English is their native language, you would see a statistically completely insignificant difference between college degrees in 2024 and non-college degrees. No one will put that to the test. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I would say the so-called uneducated are probably more informed.
Yep.
Well, no, it's one of these things too, just like the 18 million vote chart, right? Or the 62 million votes or whatever it was. It doesn't say what you think it says, guys. Like it actually says this is an indoctrination factory as well.
The problem with the word educated, highly educated, college educated means you could be a number of degrees that don't require intelligence or basic, problem solving skills. Like, sure, your engineering degrees, okay, your law degrees, your medical degrees. Yes, you have your practical degrees that need to have an intelligent person. But there's humanities,
gender
so many different things.
Gender studies.
You could study stand-up comedy at USC.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I did. PhD.
He's the dean, actually.
Yeah.
Yes. The corrective grading your papers is just a roast. Yeah. Look like a fag to me.
But there's people out there.
I got an A in heckling.
There's people out there who have way more intelligence doing practical things. You got like carpenters who are doing math on a daily basis, all day long.
No,
you
you're
got
right.
plumbers, you got electricians, you got people who are driving trucks who are smarter than these people getting gender studies degrees.
No, that's.
And you know what? Don't underestimate. I know we don't have these numbers. The trucker vote, very important. People who travel a lot for work. That's that podcast audience. That's the people who will tune into 5-hour shows, whether it's Joe Rogan, whether it's this, and it's largely male. And you know what? You're going to say those people aren't educated? I have become Mr. Audiobook. I'm not going to lie about it. I used to read more. Now I find I can get way more in with audiobooks, listen to it, especially because I have books that are given to me to review. And most of my reading has to be news of the day. But there are people now where it's audiobooks, it's podcasts. That's why you're seeing everything fractured a little bit more. You're not seeing the same kind of megastars in music because people are learning passively.
I think when we looked at that young vote, that's a really important point, is the podcast vote, because Trump was going out there and doing this new media. He was going on things like the Nelk
right
Boys.
ones.
He was going, like being endorsed by people like Bryce Hall, which we might not even know in this audience, but to people that are in college, that's a huge deal.
Aiden Ross kid, Theo Vaughn.
Aiden Ross, and even like younger, like female influencers that are really popular were endorsing him, taking pictures with him. That should not be taken lightly.
Well, you know what the big difference is too? He made the time. Let's just be honest about this. When people say Mr. Elitist, billionaire, and we're going to show a clip that I think, is there a double standard? Yes. Donald Trump, you'll see in this next clip. He speaks in a way that if Kamala spoke that way, you would say, okay, this is absolutely patronizing. But here's why. Because she's not genuine. You know that Donald Trump speaks with his business partners this way. He made the time going on Joe Rogan. He made the time going on Theo Vaughn. He made the you know what? You may think it hurt him. I think having Tony Hinchcliffe helped him. You know why? Because we go, hey, I know that guy. It's not Van Jones and mustacheless Axelrod, which is the lesser Axelrod on CNN. I know these people. And you know what people said? Oh, I know that guy. Of course he's going to make a Puerto Rican joke. Have you seen his show? So he made time for them. And that is one thing. He makes time for military families. He makes time for the garbage workers. He makes time. You want to say publicity stunt? Sure. But not a lifetime of it. It's the same defense I use here. And there are grifters out there. Okay, sure. You can't accuse me, Gerald, of grifting back in 2008, where it was only a career loss. It could not possibly help. You can't accuse Donald Trump of grifting when he would actually go down to the construction site and make time. The people who work for him, not the activists with the lawsuit, maybe they bring in Act Blue, right? We know how that works with former employees who are disgruntled. Maybe not everyone liked him, but he made time for all of these different groups of people, and he speaks to them the same. You can see it on The Apprentice. Was he a dick? Sure. But he was a dick to everybody when he was firing them. And he offered positive criticism to everybody.
That's what I would say when people go, oh, but he's such a phony. At least he took the time to be phony.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny. Seriously. But he's not a phony.
A lot of work to be that phony.
He's a BSer. He's a guy who embellishes a little bit. That's the difference between that and being an actual compulsive liar.
That's right. But when you say make the time, another is saying that is work. That's a lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I couldn't. Don Jr. said, yeah, we were up all night. We did 4 rallies.
Yeah.
He said we came home at 6 a.m. He went right to a TV show.
Yes.
Guy's 78.
Yeah.
In a perfect world where work ethic used to mean something, you'd vote for him just because he worked circles around Kamala.
Oh, that's absolutely right.
It's funny how they used his age against him the whole time, and then she ended up relying on the dinosaur media.
Yep.
Versus he who went
Well,
on
not
the
only
podcast.
that,
and
the dinosaur campaign.
Yep.
Remember Nancy Pelosi was on CNN. I don't think we ran the clip, but she was like, and I always say, you must own the ground. Actually, not really. I'm sorry. I don't think that matters as much these days. Now, in certain areas like Scott Pressler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yep. But you know what matters more is people in general, because media is consumed so often and passively too, while you're cooking dinner, while you're in your truck. It matters how people perceive on a national level with a national election. Yes, for state elections, for House, for Senate. Boots on the ground matters, canvassing. But I don't think that people changed their vote because there was a knock on their door. Kamala relied on that, where Donald Trump, people said he's outsourced that to Elon Musk. Okay, he went on Joe Rogan. J.D. Vance went on Joe Rogan. He went on Theo Vaughn. He brought in one of the most popular podcasters into his rally, and he was accused by legacy media saying, this could be the end of his campaign, Puerto Rico. Well, guess what? He won massively with Hispanic voters in a way that you could not expect. While he was going on, quote unquote, new media. It's not new. It's been around for a decade and a half at this point. He was doing that. Kamala was relying on the lies from legacy media, and they just don't work anymore.
That's the big variable. We've talked about a ton of variables. No media.
I think
it's just legacy is being crushed.
Yeah.
Legacy media, and for good
Like,
reason.
There's no way to really parse out the Puerto Rican vote specifically, right? It's just going to be lumped into Hispanics.
I mean, there's not right now, but there's going to be news outlets that do their own like exit polling or focus groups and stuff like that. But right now, there's no.
It's unlikely that he gained that much support with Hispanics and somehow lost support with Puerto Ricans because of a joke.
That's right.
One would assume.
It's like,
have you spent any
media,
time
it was
around Hispanic
everything.
Americans, like the Hispanic men? They do not get offended at jokes. Do you have any idea? Every time they like, sometimes they'll bring in some of the workers, they'll bring like salsa. Like
Puerto Rican,
"Carol,
I will
that
say,
might be spicy for you. There's like an onion, that kind of thing. Like they'll joke, like, I don't know, the way you like Nilla wafers. I'm like, no, man, I like spice. Are you sure?
Miller.
I'm going to call you that from now on. Nilla wafer. That's your name, fool. Miller. I'm going to call you that. Hey, look, it's Nilla wafer. Hey, look at him. Where's your milk, fool?
They do.
That's the dialect over here.
He's really good. He's really good.
But where he would have lost any Puerto Rican vote, he definitely made up for with the Dominicans, because once you shit on Puerto Ricans and Haitians, the Dominican vote is all
Wow.
So I think you got
Lane, that is a great
100%.
point.
That's an overlooked kind of variable.
I gotta
The
tell
only
you,
Puerto Ricans that were offended were the ones that weren't voting for him in the first place.
Right.
Because we know that. We know there's at least a high, close to half, maybe percentage of Puerto Ricans who weren't going to vote from the first. That was the only people that were offended. And I think people were just offended at Tony, not Donald.
Yeah. I don't even think people were that offended.
No, I don't think
You know
so.
what else? Here's a big difference too. And guys, hopefully you're okay with this, because we have all the data. But I also think just giving some opinions here, again, getting back to data. Data gives you an answer, but it doesn't give you the why. Yeah. And that's where you do need human interference at that point. An AI machine won't necessarily be able to give you the why. The gut feeling does matter there, and having conversations with people. Like you mentioned the Dominican. Yep, that's a very important one. Dominicans, by the way, I've only had good experiences with Dominicans, aside from when I was robbed by one. But
they're the best.
I assume
good ball players, though.
So the Red Sox, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
The problem with Dominicans is that like 87% of them give the rest a bad name.
Well, I say that about another demographic. The 99 ruin it for the 1%.
But you know what though? Yes, but we can have these conversations now, right? Think about it. You don't have to be afraid to have the conversation. Remember back in 2016,
we have a mandate.
It was considered like the pirate black dot if you said you voted for Trump around a Hispanic, right?
Yeah.
Donald Trump. Here's something else that I think is very important, very telling. Was it in Minnesota that Kamala Harris, or was in Pennsylvania where she ran the pro-Israel ad, and then she also ran the "We'll Stop Genocide" type ad, where she ran two opposing
back to back.
Pennsylvania. I think it was Michigan. She ran the
Michigan and Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was doing that to win. Okay, she didn't win. Donald Trump won with the exact same message to Jewish Americans and Muslim Americans. He won Dearborn with the same message that he got a huge number of Jewish American votes. Think about that. Same message. Hey, Abraham Accords, do we want peace? We're going to put a stop to it. He didn't say, hey, it's genocide with one group of people, and then say only the Jews with other people. It was, we're going to support Israel. We're going to support freedom. This is a war where people are dying. It needs to stop. We're going to put a stop to it. We're going to have peace in that region. He won both sides with the same message. Kamala Harris lost both sides with two separate pandering messages. That's the story of this election.
I think, just to push back on that a little, I think some of that Dearborn Arab vote, Muslim vote, whatever, came from they didn't think Kamala was hard enough on Israel.
Yeah, but I don't think they would vote for Trump if that was the case. I think they thought she didn't push hard enough, and they know she's weak, and they don't trust her.
Yeah.
Because I had an Iraqi
complaining all the time that she wasn't.
I would say that's the 21% that voted for Jill Stein in Dearborn.
Yeah,
and that is a real number too.
That is a real number.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. They voted for.
So that's where the other it was 47-27. That's what.
You still see too many people who went to Donald Trump. I had a cab driver who was Iraqi, and he said, a lot of people said, no, we like Trump. Look, it's not about Jew. It's about people don't understand the war. It's economics. We don't want war. We want peace. Look, at the end of the day, it's more peace. That's better. Okay, I have family there. I don't want war. People think we want war. At least we know that Donald Trump, look, he says things. He says, okay, he can be an ass. I'm sorry, my language. But you know that at least he doesn't want war. Well, how do I know? Because he doesn't want war anywhere. He doesn't want war with Russia. He doesn't want war there. So at least we know for his starting point, right? For his base point, his base. Like his base. I remember him saying this. His base to start that he's not the man who wants war. You need to start with that, or I can't vote for you. That's what he said. And I said, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
He told the Iranians, quote, I will bomb the shit out of you.
Yes.
You bring that clip up. He said it and he still got that much of the Muslim vote in, or in, I'm not saying they're Iranians,
They know what he
but
means when he says it. They know who he's talking about, who he's talking to.
Yeah, and the Houthis said, we would like to talk.
Yes, literally, within hours of us calling the election, by the way, one of the first people to call the election based on data, not our own gut feel, the Houthis posted a tweet like, we would like a ceasefire. We brought it up on the show.
I know. Right.
I think it's been community noted, but.
Has it been?
Yeah, it has been. It has
well,
been.
that's what happens when you're live.
But yeah.
At 4 a.m.
I picture that cab driver you were talking to saying all that with a hook on his hand. We don't want
we don't
want war.
Sorry,
he's
just blowing his nose in a little Israeli flag. It's a token. You get it at the gift shop.
That's not true.
So yes, let's bring that up too. That he would bomb again. He's a guy who has said he said I will bomb the shit out of Iran.
Do it.
And he won Dearborn. Hey, how do you do that? That's where the why matters. Let's play the clip.
Somebody criticized me the other day because they asked me what I do, and I said, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them.
you know how far that goes?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yes.
In a PC world where people have had it.
Yep.
You understand? Even people on the left who have had it with some of this PC.
Oh, yeah.
That works way better than don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
You know what else?
There you go.
You know what else I like? J.D. Vance, right? Who's a Christian. I know he's a Catholic convert. I used to get this too on the show. If you know, and look, I have an issue with language. I've been very clear about it. I am a Christian. It's what defines me. J.D. Vance was on Joe Rogan talking about how his son said "fuck." It's funny. He's like, shit. He's like, it's a great. My grandmother, Bible believing Christian. She was a woman, but you know what? She did have a mouth in her. And we're getting past that point of judging people. Cancel culture is not you have the wrong opinion. It's that combined with destroying someone's life and removing them from the dialogue because of one thing. And this is what the left does. They identify people as one thing. It's your gender. It's your sexuality. It's your race. And then they want to judge all of your speech by one phrase. And they do it with comedians because they don't care about context. They try and use these landmines, cultural landmines, to destroy you. They don't mean it. They don't believe it. They're not offended by it. And the voters reflected that. You're not defined by saying bomb the shit out of them.
No.
I think that's less vulgar than having ads of a guy jerking off to pornography.
I saw that.
Right? And someone coming in saying, hey, they want to take your porn. The left is the party of vulgarity and actual degeneracy. I don't mean bad words, but pushing ideas that destroy a culture from within.
P. Diddy parties.
Yes, exactly.
In such a way that I think the FCC has, I think years ago, they made shit an okay word to say on TV.
I believe so.
No shit.
No shit.
Yeah, no shit. I think it's after a certain time you can say it on TV.
When
that
you can drop the C word, come talk to me. Right?
I did at hour 11 of the stream. And I remember you were like, oh, well, I was keeping it in. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just can't help it.
By the way, so so Trump almost won Hamtramck. He lost it by 4.5 points. Biden carried it by 72 points.
My goodness.
Wait, are we sure about that?
Won what? What was it?
No, he got 72% of the vote.
Hamtramck, 72%. Sorry.
Where's that?
No, wait, he got 85% 4 years ago.
72.
Wait, it's a plus 72. Hold on a second.
You guys are giving me a weird overlay with the numbers that were here. So
okay, 100% of the vote candidate. Harris got 46%. Biden got 65%.
They said 2020 margin was Biden plus 72.
Was Biden plus 72?
Wow,
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
85.
The way this is written is very
weird. Yeah, but I understand it. So
this isn't our data, just to be clear.
No. So what they're doing is they're going Trump and Biden in comparison, but then they go back to the 24 election numbers that make it look a little bit weird. So,
and by the way, don't worry, we're going to get to abortion because I know you little whores are going to have a heart attack if we don't get to it. Yeah,
I was just going to say the long story short is Trump lost Hamtramck by 4.5. In 2020, he lost it by 72.
That's a huge shift.
Yeah, he lost it by 72.
He lost it by
85
72
to about 13.
Really?
Yes.
I thought.
Where's Hamtramck?
That's such a because now we got about 42%.
Yeah.
Oh my
again.
Wow.
Insane.
Harris got 46.2, so he got about
42.42.
42.
What's the demographic? I'm sorry.
Hamtramck is so it used to be largely Polish. It's I don't even think in Dearborn, but in Hamtramck, it's the one place where it was for a long time where you can actually hear the Islamic call to prayer across the municipality. It's a heavily Muslim area. So for him to make those kinds of gains, and you know what else? You know what you're seeing? Again, this isn't a guess. This is and the damage was done, and it's terrible. Do not get me wrong. I always err on the side of preserving our constitutional republic. But this is a mandate that Donald Trump couldn't have had in 2020. It is clarity. People have lived Donald Trump. They have lived Joe Biden. In other words, the
That's
Islamic
right.
community in the States are saying, we've seen both. Now we're making our decision. How often let me ask you this. If you're choosing between two cars, if you're choosing between two pairs of jeans, but you only see one, are you going to make a more informed decision than if you've test driven both, than if you've tried on both? America tried on both. America test drove both. And they said, nah, we're going with the first one. That's what you saw happen. And that's why you're seeing Muslim Americans saying, absolutely not. We don't trust you. We've lived through both of them. And this is why Donald Trump won too. A huge part of it is, look, people talk about fundamentals. His campaign focused on the issues that people actually cared about. We'll get to abortion because that's not it right now. But these are the issues people cared about. And this is why Donald Trump resonated with them.
But over the past 4 years, Americans have suffered one catastrophic failure, betrayal, and humiliation after another. Kamala Harris has delivered soaring prices and economic anguish at home, war and chaos abroad, and nation-destroying invasion on our southern border like nobody's ever seen before. She's actually a disaster. My message to Americans tonight is simple. We do not have to live this way. We don't.
We don't.
Simple, plain spoken.
We don't. By the way, that's the way he would talk with everyone at business partners. Like, you got the lumber for 12% less. Wow, you did. Great.
I like Santa Claus behind him doing the all thumbs down.
So he mentioned three things in there, right? He mentioned security, he mentioned the border, and he mentioned the economy.
Yes. And according to exit polls, these are the most important issues, and Donald Trump dominated on them. On the border, people trust Donald Trump by a plus 9% margin. He wins by 9.
Should have been 109.
He's over by 6, right? Plus 6 on crime. Trump by 6. On handling the crisis that we're dealing with now. Trump by 6. Meanwhile, Kamala focused on, and the left said this would be our Achilles heel. Didn't turn out to be. I'll explain to you why, because I see a lot of leftists asking, why was 2022, the midterms, it was all about Roe v. Wade overturned, and why didn't that happen? I'll tell you why I think that happened. It's a hunch. Pretty sure it's right. But this is what Kamala focused on. Almost exclusively abortion.
One does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body.
Now, Donald Trump has a very different view on reproductive freedom. And he refuses continuously to acknowledge the harm he has caused.
He brags about overturning Roe v. Wade. In his own words, quote,
that's enough. We have them on. People get the point. You remember, right? We don't need to see any more of her. She even, by the way, she even incorporated it into her final never word salad bowl concession speech.
I will never give up the fight.
Have a very difficult time ever winning an election. Again, right now, if it goes the way things are going.
And I am willing to take a financial loss, or at least I'm willing for the Daily Wire to take a financial loss. I don't want to. I'm not paying a dime. I don't. But I am willing for this company to lose money just to get that trailer in front of their faces this morning when they're already devastated and hurting. And I'll lose as much of this company's money as is necessary to annoy as many of MSNBC's viewers as we can. That's my solemn promise to you. And it's an act of charity, really. Anyway, now that I've proven that I'm a compassionate and kind person, let's get on with delighting in the misfortune of others. We'll begin with this brief compilation of women on TikTok crying. Now, Donald Trump, we know, is now 2-0 against female presidential candidates, which is just, oh man. He has prevented a woman from becoming president twice. And that fact is just too much for the women of TikTok. They cannot cope with it, and they're very upset. And don't laugh at any of this. This is not about laughing. It's just, anyway, here it is. reinstating slavery. It was one of his core campaign promises. You know, at least if you have the mental computing software for leftists, that's apparently what you hear when Trump says that he's going to lower taxes and create more manufacturing jobs in America. From election time chaos to natural disasters, supply chain shortages, and even rumors of a new pandemic, relying on the government to keep you and your family safe during an emergency is not an option. Hurricane Helene is a validation, and that is why the wellness company's medical emergency kit is a must-have. Don't take my word for it. Andrea B. said, "This kit has everything I really needed. The doctors behind this kit stood up during the pandemic and put it all on the line to help educate us." You get 8 prescription medications, which include 5 broad-spectrum antibiotics and the Nobel Prize-winning ivermectin. Plus, you're covered for 2 years on replenishments. Let's not forget, this kit is backed by Dr. Peter McCullough, a true warrior in the fight against medical tyranny. Ordering is easy, just a few clicks, and the kit is delivered straight to your door by removing the red tape and breaking free from the sick care model. You are in control of your own health for a change. Order your medical emergency kit right now by heading to urgentcarekit.com/Walsh. Use promo code Walsh and save $60 and get free shipping. That's urgentcarekit.com/Walsh. Use promo code Walsh, USA residents only.
Full coverage for just $39 a month? Seem too good to be true? It isn't. If you haven't checked your rates recently, you're probably being overcharged for auto insurance. Find out now. Click on the link, enter some really basic info about your car, and see how much you can save. It's that easy. Check it out.
Where does a guy get a right to say what a woman is? Women only know what women are.
Are you a cat?
No.
Can you tell me what a cat is?
This is actually a genuine mistake. I am sorry I even came up there.
You want to tell us what a woman is? Meanwhile, the actress Christina Applegate is having a tough time. Her entire Twitter page is right now is full of unhinged ramblings and worth reading. But there's also this one I like. She says, "Why? Give me your reasons why. My child is sobbing because her rights as a woman may be taken away. Why? And if you disagree, please unfollow me." Now, my favorite thing about this tweet is that she begins by asking Trump voters to explain why they voted for him, but she ends by telling them to shut up and go away. Explain why you did this. Shut up, leave. Now, which is it? You can't really do both. And in between, she tells us that her child is traumatized because her rights are going to be taken away, and her child may well be traumatized. I mean, but I'm sorry if she is, but Christina Applegate is the one who traumatized her. I'd be traumatized too as a child if my mom was hysterically screaming that the world's coming to an end and all of our rights will disappear. Now, so far, we've only reveled in the manic rage and despair of female Kamala supporters, but plenty of men are melting down too. We'll get to those in a minute. First, here's one more from a woman.
So the election between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris has not been called yet. We do not know who the winner is, but it is pointing in one direction. And it's not final, but I just wanted to say that America failed women tonight, primarily. Trump has insulted women, berated them, has been found liable in court for assaulting a woman, and he took women's reproductive rights away. And instead of standing up to that, people voted for it. And we failed our daughters, our mothers, our sisters, our wives tonight. America failed them. We failed them. It is unfortunately the reality of the situation. So I'm sorry to everybody out there who will be impacted by what may come.
America failed women, he says. Failed them. Of course, a whole lot of women also voted for Trump, but they failed themselves. You know what? You failed yourselves, women. Americans failed women by showing that they also recognize the humanity of babies. And in this person's world, It's one or the other. You know, America had to choose babies or women. And Harry is deeply disappointed that we chose babies. Even though to people who are not morally insane, that choice doesn't exist because we can care about both women and babies at the same time. And we did. That's why we voted for Trump. Mike Wise is a sports commentator, apparently, and he agrees with Harry. He tweeted, quote, "It's not just that Trump won. It's that Joe Rogan, Dana White, and Brett Favre won. Jailed insurrectionists won. The Alitos and the Thomases won. Vladimir Putin won. Racism won. Misogyny won. Sexism won. Global warming won. Xenophobia won. Most of all, fear won. That's what hurts." Now, there are about a million other tweets that we could read, all with this same tone and message. Who are the real villains in this story? Who is to blame for the loss? The American people. The people are the villains. They defenders.
So the View, they responded to the election, and these ladies are just idiots. We're going to destroy them today. Check this video out.
So, how you feel? I'll start. Yeah, go ahead.
If you look at the New York Times this morning, the headline was "America Makes a Perilous Choice." I think that in 2016, we didn't know what we would get from a Trump administration, but we know now. And we know now that he will have almost unfettered power. And so I worry, not about myself, actually. I don't worry about my station now. The headline.
So, how you feel? I'll start. Yeah, go ahead.
If you look at the New York Times this morning, the headline was "America Makes a Perilous Choice." I think that in 2016, we didn't know what we would get from a Trump administration, but we know now. And we know now that he will have almost unfettered power. And so I worry, not about myself, actually. I don't worry about my station in life. I worry about the working class. I worry about my mother, a retired teacher. I worry about our elderly and their Social Security and their Medicare. I worry about my children's future, especially my daughter, who now has less rights than I have. And I remember my father telling me many, many years ago that I was the first person in his family to enjoy full civil rights. And now I have less civil rights than I had when he told me that.
Okay, after the election, what civil rights do you not have anymore? What civil right did you lose in an election for the president? Doesn't work like that. Yeah. What rights did I wish she would explain to us. Maybe we do. Oh, I know what she's talking about. You can't walk in 9 months pregnant and say, "Yep, I changed my mind." Is that the right you're talking about? Just because Republicans are trying to put restrictions, they're not banning it, just putting restrictions. Yeah. But that's how you're losing civil rights. You, your daughter, can't walk into a clinic and say, "You know what? I'm doing like 3 hours, but I changed my mind." Man, you actually say your daughter has less rights than you do? Man, it's just, that's the stupidity. The only way you lose rights in this country is if Congress actually gets together and legislates some laws and pass them, and then the president signs off on it. Even if the president don't sign off on it, I think it's if it's like 66%, Congress can just pass stuff without the president's approval. Right. I forget how the percentage, but yeah, but that's everything you said is a lie. Hyperbole. It's gaslighting. You're gaslighting everybody. Yeah, you're just a liar. Let's keep this going.
Again, I'm profoundly disturbed that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution did not prevent someone who participated in an insurrection from becoming president of the United States. I think that going forward, the convicted felon box on employment applications better be taken off, because if you can be the president